Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be looking today at a couple of different gas relationships. The first one is we're going to look at the relationship between pressure as measured by a gas pressure sensor and the volume of a gas that we can control with a 20 cc syringe. This is a relationship that in 1660 Robert Boyle examined, and we're going to be trying to duplicate those results. The first thing you're going to want to do is to make sure, first of all, that the LabRequest is on. So if you don't see anything on the screen, simply depress the button in the upper left-hand corner, and that should activate the device. And just give it a few seconds just to warm up. It'll say LabRequest, and you'll see some numbers come up on the screen. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that the proper probes are attached. In this case, we've attached a gas pressure sensor. That's this sensor here. The gas pressure sensor should be in the first slot. In this case, that is channel 1. So that device should be in channel 1. And then the other device that we've attached is a temperature probe that we'll use for a subsequent experiment. But the temperature probe should be in channel 2. And when you do that, if it's not already done, you should get readings for both of those. We're going to be measuring today in millimeters of mercury. If it's not set for millimeters of mercury, that's okay. You can change it just by calibrating it. Just remove the stylus, click on the number that you, or the measurement that you want to change, and just go ahead and make that change. Do a change in unit and a change in calibration if you need to. If it goes a little bit dark on you, just depress anywhere on the screen, it'll come back to life. So we've got the gas pressure sensor now attached, and the next thing we're going to want to do is attach our 20 cc syringe. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up the syringe to the 20 cc mark, so the leading edge of the syringe is right on the 20 cc's, and you're going to attach just like this. When you attach the syringe, turn slowly. You want it to be a firm, tight fit, but not too tight as to destroy this intersection between the gas pressure sensor and the syringe itself. So be careful when you're doing that. I'm going to lay it just like that so I can easily see these readings on the syringe. So we're set to go now. We've got the temperature probe. I'm reading now 23.5 degrees Celsius, and I'll make that recording in my notebook. That's 23.5 degrees Celsius, and I've made that recording. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure in 1 cc increments the pressure that the pressure sensor is registering as I decrease the volume from, on my syringe, 20 cc's to say 10 cc's. So I'll get 10 readings and then I'll analyze those results. So we'll start with 20. I'm reading 762.2 millimeters of mercury, so I'll make that notation. That's 762.2 millimeters of mercury. I'll let it adjust, and then I'll go to 19. And I'm reading 798.4 millimeters of mercury. 798.4. I'll let it adjust again. I go to 18 now, and it is 810.2. Next is, this is for 17, 883.1. For 16, 936.4. 15, 997.7. 14, 1047.6. Next is 1104.9. 12, 24.8. 1810.0. and 1428.8 for 10 cc's. And I'll just release just like that. So I have my data now. I'll take that data over to the board in just a little while, but before I do that, I want to look at another relationship, and that is the relationship between temperature and pressure. This time, temperature and pressure. In order to do that, I'm going to have to remove the syringe, so I'll just remove the syringe carefully by twisting it to the left, just like that. And I'm going to attach this other device. It fits on the gas pressure sensor, just like that. It's a long tube connected to a glass test tube, just like that. And I now have a certain specific volume in this tube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the temperature at the pressure, at 3 different temperatures. We're going to start with cold. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my temperature sensor, that's this sensor here, that was the one that was in channel 2, and I'm going to place it into the cold, just like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my test tube, the one that's attached now to the gas pressure sensor, into the, there we go. Just like that. And I'll give it just a few minutes to equilibrate. And here's what I read. For cold, the temperature now is 278.9 degrees Kelvin. 278.9 degrees Kelvin. And the volume, or the pressure, I'm sorry, is 689.7 millimeters of mercury. Okay? It's best to have a paper towel on hand so that you can wipe off the temperature probe. I'm gonna move over to room temperature now. We've gotten the recording for the cold temperature. That's ice water. And now we want to go to room temperature. Let me just let that warm up just a little bit. And my temperature for room temperature is 295.0 degrees Kelvin. The pressure is 729.4 millimeters of mercury. Okay? And we'll wipe off again. This time we'll use hot water. Be careful with that hot water. It shouldn't be boiling hot. It need not be that hot. It should be hot. I've just taken it off a hot plate, just like that. Wipe off the excess moisture just like that, and place it into the hot water just like that. And the temperature that I get now is 315.8 degrees Kelvin. And the pressure is 812.6 millimeters of mercury. Okay? And that completes our investigation of the relationship between pressure and temperature. The second one we looked at, and the relationship between pressure and volume. We're going to go to the board now and take a look at this data. Thank you. Bye-bye.